Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishnan. Basically, we are talking about the government part. So basically, whatever just last part, basically we have so I have just taken as an example, basically, but this is the live example. But I exactly don't remember his name. Basically, he has told me one story. Basically, that person has told me one story. But that basically guy basically who has told this story, he basically died long before basically because he was HIV/AIDS and he was got Nasbandi also. After that, hearing this whole thing, basically he committed suicide also basically. So just see basically up to what level the people nowadays basically people don't know basically what to do. They just give the punishment to the people, and they never think that basically up to what level that punishment is going to be done, going to be happen. Like this basically the person has died and the world is also exist. So like this basically the person has died, and currently it's 2023 and the person died basically and world also exists. So like this basically he was punished by the government, and here basically we are talking about the government industry, basically we can say the formula industry, basically we can say. Here basically we are talking about the uh, banking industry, we can say. Here basically we are talking about the sales industry. Here we are talking about the education industry. We have saw basically each and every industry sector basically. Why we are telling this all the thing basically, the reason behind this is each and every formula word basically, sorry, the formula word is going to connect to this each and every industry, because each and every industry basically are using the softwares, basically we can say. So if basically you are using the software, then basically you are going to jump into the formula basically. So basically last basically we have saw basically about that guy, basically poor guy basically, who was punished by the, exactly basically don't know the which government it is, but the guy was of Vadodara city and the girl was of Mumbai, and like this basically marriage happened, and he got HIV/AIDS, and he was his Nasbandi was also happened. So just see basically up to what level the basically plan was done by the government basically. So government want to take one lesson basically. So for that basically they have spent lots of rupees also. So just see basically up to what level the basically government does to create the lesson, basically we can say. So to create the lesson basically up to that level, basically they have spent the money also, that also more than 20,000 crore basically. Basically I have just heard from that guy basically that they have spent up to that level, and at last basically he committed suicide. Like this lots of things happened basically after that. In front of government basically lakhs of people died, that also you have seen. Like this basically lots of thing has happened. That guy basically committed suicide in 2000, I think 10 or before, yeah, in 10 2010, before basically Mahendra Singh Dhoni hit six and India won the World Cup. Before that basically, exactly I remember the date basically. Like this basically the government is doing the each and every plans, and government is telling that we are creating lessons. To create the lesson basically we are spending crores of rupees, because until we don't create the lesson in front of public basically, then basically the public will not listen them. Like this basically that person basically who has mailed basically to that company owner, on the base of that basically he got HIV/AIDS girl, and he was basically done Nasbandi also, and the government told that, see businessman, we have done this for you because you are paying tax to me, tax to government. For that basically we have done for you this. After that basically his entire group basically started paying the tax basically. So just see basically up to the level of the business sales basically, that also you can say, and world also exists, that also you will be going to see. And like this basically each and every government is told that government told that the businessman has started to paying the money also, and that also basically tax, that also in good level money basically, because the businessman told that you have given the lesson to that guy basically, and we are happy because he had done the suicide. So basically just see the up to the level businessman basically think. This was also basically, this is actually the live case study basically, but exactly don't remember who is the businessman. like this basically he committed. So basically you can say that there is nothing like humanity, basically humanity has left basically, because human businessman told that he has done the mail, he has done the bad thing, then basically he should get the punishment. So basically, government also know which type of people are businessmen people, which type of ego people are businessmen. Basically, until basically he has died. That when basically he has died the day they basically had done jashan. Basically, the businessmen of that group basically had done the jashan, because when the person basically got HIV/AIDS, that time also they have done the jashan in Mumbai and in Vadodara. And then basically when he got the Nasbandi, that time basically also they have done the they have done the Jashan and in Mumbai and Vadodara city. So just see basically up to what level the businessmen are basically. So you can here basically I want to say that each and everything basically is connected with the that basically guy was of software industry basically. So due to that basically he's but the here the main problem was the government also not was with him basically, like this basically whatever tax amount basically was deducting from the his salary basically, that was they were not investing basically in the land basically. Why? Because they have planned already that the that person is going to be that person is no that person not a single 1 rupee has to be invested in the IT industry, because there basically you can say the government ego, the businessman ego, the managing directors of the software company basically ego, like the software company's owners ego, the human resource ego came into picture. So each and every people has this basically I'm talking about in 2010 basically, after the before basically corona. Basically in corona lakhs of people died in front of government, in front of software company. Nowadays basically still basically lots of software companies are telling that we are working from home only. Like this, basically, lots of things are there. Like this, basically, each and every software company, big people basically came into the picture. They have told that he has to get punishment. Like this, basically, he have got lots of punishment. Like that, last basically, he committed suicide in 2010, basically. So just see, basically, the after that, basically, the each and every software company has danced. Each and every software company has done the jashan. Here basically my battery was low basically of the laptop. So basically each and every software company has done the jashan basically. Each and every big managing directors have done the jashan, and lots of thing has basically happened. Like this basically they have created, the government is told that we have done our task, we have created the lesson, and now basically the proof of the lesson is created, that is basically that whenever basically if any software person is going doing any bad, then basically they remembers that guy. See, do you remember that guy basically? That basically that guy basically has mailed something bad to the businessman basically. After that, do you see basically he committed suicide in 2010. Like this, basically one case was created, one case study was created, and that was basically given by that case study example was given in the HRB. Basically, this was created as a case study, and that case study was created as an example, and that example was taken in the software company. Basically, if any software person is going to doing any bad things, then basically they it takes that guy's example. You remember that guy? That guy was also doing same thing. Then basically he was got HIV/AIDS girl as a marriage, and then basically he got Nasbandi, and last he committed suicide. You remember that story? Then basically professional people basically, yeah, we remember. We are going to not going to do like that. Basically he has done like this. Basically that lesson was created by the government, by the human resource. Basically it's a union. Basically we can say of human resource group, the software company, big directors connected with the government people, and the each and every tax industry. Basically you can say each and every government, each and every things are connected with each other. Basically you can say like this. Basically US government is connected with Indian government, Indian software companies are connected with the USA software company. Like this, basically each and every things are connected, but basically nobody trusts each other. US government don't trust Indian government, and Indian government don't trust the US government, because US government says that if you can do this type of activity to your people, then basically how we can trust you. Like this, basically US government never trust the people, because US government says that if to create one lesson, basically you are doing this type of activities to your people, then basically how we can trust you. Like this, basically US government also don't trust Indian government. And basically in simple language, basically no government trust each other. Basically that is basically different, that is basically totally business aspects. Basically you can say, basically nobody trust each other. Basically, even basically if you are creating any project proposal to any software, to any businessman, basically, then basically you have to sign the proposal, then only basically you can start the project. Like this, basically nobody trust. Even basically you can say, if one brother is telling that I want to create this project, and the another brother is telling that I am a businessman, and I am basically having one software company, then basically we have to sign a proposal, and then only basically we can start the project. Like this, basically even the brothers basically don't trust each other. So the situation is like this, because it's a professional world basically nowadays. Because whenever you are creating any projects, you don't know basically up to what level that project is going to reach, up to what level the people are going to use, up to what level the energies is going to generate. Because you can't predict the project, you can't predict the product up to the level basically the product is going to be. So basically, there are lots there. For example, I will take one example: the Hotmail. Basically, Hotmail basically never thought that the Hotmail is going to be up to very big level. Basically, then basically that Hotmail basically was purchased by the Microsoft. Basically, so Hotmail has never thought, Hotmail owner basically Sabbir Bhatia has never thought that the Hotmail is going to reach up to the level basically, but the product has reached up to the level. At last, basically he sold the product in very good level of money. Like this, basically nobody can think that their product is going to be up to what level basically. That's why basically nowadays people do the signing of the each and every product, each and every countries do the signing of each and everything basically. Like this, basically lots of things are connected, each and every things are connected up to the level. Like this, basically I am not blaming any government. Basically I am not telling that government is bad. I am just telling that to create one lesson, basically you can spend up to the level. If you might have spent that much money to save that person basically, then basically you might have got some bless. Basically you might have get some you might have got some good repo from the employees also. Basically, because employees will also say that yeah, basically the government has spent lots of money to save that guy basically, but you have spent the money to the create the lesson, and that guy basically at last committed suicide in 2010, and basically he got HIV/AIDS and husband also. Like this, basically here we are stopping it. And in this 75th part, we have talked about the education industry, software industry, the government word, basically how it's going to connect to the formula word. Then we have saw the sales industry. Then we have saw up to the level, uh, um, what level the lesson has reached, and how basically human resource people create the lesson. And the best example is that person basically who got HIV/AIDS and Nasbandi, and he at last committed the suicide. Like this, we are stopping here, and this is basically 75th part. And in 77, 76th part, we are going to talk about a little bit more about the formula word.